Brian, thank you so much for joining us here today. Can you just introduce yourself and what your role is at Alibaba?
Sure. My name is Brian Wong. I'm Vice President of Global Initiatives, which is also part of the Alibaba Business School. Our main focus is to run and design capacity building programs and training programs for governments, entrepreneurs, and educational institutions.
You've been a young global leader for the World Economic Forum for 5 years now. Tell us about your experience with this program.
Well, the Young Global Leader program is a reflection of WEF's commitment to youth and investing in the next generation. It reflects a common set of values and focus of the organization, not unlike Alibaba, which is really investing in the youth and encourage them to create a better future for the world. Jack was a YGL in the early 2000s. I think it had a profound impact on him in terms of how he saw the world. And Eric is now on the YGL Foundation board, where he provides guidance to the program. And I think it's a wonderful thing to see that these two organizations have such a common set of values, that they believe in the importance of this area in nurturing young people. And it's just been a privilege to be part of this over the last 5 years.
Alibaba is really committed to implementing training programs, especially in emerging markets like Southeast Asia or Africa.
Yes.
Why is Alibaba so committed to these programs, and what is our philosophy behind that?
What we want to do is take the model that has evolved in China over the last 20 years and share that with the rest of the world. Asia, Africa are both markets that have great potential. They have a budding digital economy. The model that's been sort of created here in China is something that everyone can learn from. It's an inclusive model that allows companies of all sizes to play a role. It empowers youth, it empowers women, it empowers those who are disabled. And so if we can share our lessons from this experience and encourage others to think about how to use technology for good, I think that would be a wonderful thing that Alibaba can leave behind for the world.
So at the World Economic Forum this year, Alibaba signed on to be a founding member of the Africa Growth Platform.
Yes.
Tell us about what the Africa Growth Platform is and what the goals are. What is Alibaba's role in this platform?
We decided to launch the Friends of the AGP initiative here at Davos. And that was an initiative to invite heads of state, government leaders to play a role in this, because the AGP requires that we involve both public, private, and civil society as part of this effort to help the Africa continent come together. The idea is that Africa faces a major challenge in the next few decades, that being the large young population. Probably over 60% of the population is under the age of 25 today, and in a few decades they will become the largest working population anywhere in the world. So this challenge is that how do we create opportunities for the youth to actually play a role in the future development of the continent?
You mentioned turning challenges into opportunities, especially for markets across Africa. Yes. What does this really mean, and how can we achieve that?
When Alibaba started, there was also nothing in China. 20 years ago, there was less than 10 million internet users. There was no digital economy infrastructure. People didn't have credit cards. And a lot of people said it's impossible. You're not going to be able to do this. At least you're not going to do it anytime soon. And 20 years later, we see the result. What we try and tap into through our empowerment programs and our training programs is, how do you target the entrepreneurs, the young entrepreneurs in the region, but then tie in other groups like governments, like educational institutions, like NGOs, and work to support one another to create a holistic solution to the problem.
Brian, you've been with the company for a really long time, and a big part of your job is educating people about what Alibaba does and what it stands for. Yeah. Tell us about one thing that you wish more people knew about Alibaba.
I think the thing that I wish more people knew about Alibaba was how much good that they're doing for society, to help society and address the problems, while at the same time running a very healthy and successful business. And to realize that these things are not mutually exclusive. It's entirely possible to have both. The WEF has a slogan around stakeholder capitalism, I believe, and they released the Davos Manifesto 2020 that talks about the obligation that companies have or businesses have to multiple stakeholders. And this is something that Alibaba has believed from day one. And I feel very proud about that, because it's something that's driven our company to become what it is today. And it shows that Jack had a vision from day one that what we were doing made a lot of sense, and he believed that that was possible.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for taking the time for this interview, and hope you have a successful Davos.